Hey guys, welcome to Diecast. So in this video, I have a person who purchased this GT Spirit Porsche 356B, and unfortunately in transit, the bumper is actually in pieces. So it's actually in 4 pieces. So you can see there's this tiny part that goes right up there. That's not too bad. This is a little bit tricky because it's in a separate piece, and this one just kind of snaps in there, so it's not the worst. So it would go, I would assume, this way. So I would assume to glue that part into this hole right there, and that should remedy that. And then after that, I would possibly just glue it together right here. But yeah, like, it's a step-by-step process for sure, and yeah, like, it seems to fit that way. And I wasn't sure about the orientation of this guy, but quick Google search, these silver pieces goes right up like that. And unfortunately, the buyer was not aware that the front was missing. So yeah, that's unfortunate. So with this one, I can't do anything about it, but in this video, we're gonna fix the bumper. As you can see, it's it's completely torn off. The front one is intact. No issues there. It's a heavy piece. It's actually a really good piece. So I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing this after fixing it. So as you can see, there's these holes here, and that's where it goes. So if we take a piece of the bumper and try to fit it in, let's just see how it fits. So it sticks together, but it definitely needs a little bit of help with the adhesive there. So yeah, that's gonna help it out a lot. Yeah, there you go. Like, it just snaps into place there. So we're just gonna help it right after we assemble the bumper. Yeah, like, I mean, it's not gonna fall off, but at the same time, we want to make sure it's secure in there, right? So yeah, all right, let's get to it. So here are the stuff that I'm using right now. So I'm just using this Kleenex cloth here just to put the broken pieces down, just so it's not harsh on them. I will be using this type of adhesive. This is 100% silicone, so that means this stuff, also not a sponsor by the way, if you make a mistake, if you're messy by any chance, then this will make life a lot easier. Let's say you had a little bit of residue right there. It just rubs off once it's completely dry. So that's the best part about this. So I mean, you can use epoxy or any type of other adhesive, but personally, this is what I use, just because it still holds in place right after you glue it, and at the same time, you don't use that much. And that helps make it stronger. So yeah, this is what I use. And then I'm gonna need some toothpicks. I mean, not this much. Maybe you might use, like, I don't know, 2, 3 for this, but you don't use that much. And I just have a paper towel, so as soon as we have extra residue, like let's say I finish gluing this part to this part. Sorry, it's a bit finicky. Yeah, so let's say I finish gluing this together, then whatever residue I have, then I just kind of wipe it down. And obviously I don't want to make my work surface all dirty and whatnot. So yeah, like, as soon as it glues back into place, then I can definitely, yeah, like, take it off because it's going to harden and whatnot, and then yeah, like, move on to the next part and so on and so forth. All right, let's get on to it. Alright, so we'll start by getting one toothpick. And then I'm gonna first try to fit it in place. It's a little bit finicky here. Oops, side. There. So as you can see, there's this part that just goes through in. And that's what holds it in place. And as you can see, there's quite a gap there. So make sure that the gap is filled, like it's tightly seated. Yeah, and it should look like that once we're done. So let's take it apart again. Yeah, you can hear that snap there, so that's satisfying. We take our glue / adhesive, and as you can see, it's clear. It's a little bit on the thick side. It almost smells like vinegar, to be honest. And look how much I used there. That's not much. That's like a dab in there. I always say this when I use stuff like this, a little goes a long way. So I just put it a little bit on the area where it is going to be touching this material here, like this piece. Oh, optional as well, I would definitely wear gloves. And at the same time, I just want to do a quick disclaimer while I'm doing this. I'm not liable for any damages or mishandling when doing this DIY stuff, okay? Like, and it should show on my description as well. I just, like, there's multiple ways of doing this, and this is just one way of doing this repair. So just a disclaimer here, like not liable for anything like that. Just take your time, make sure you're doing it right. Yeah, so I'm just kind of like working my way this way just to make sure I fill that gap. Yeah, I can feel it come in place already. Like it's sinking in there. And as you can see, there's a little bit of glue residue just up top there. And yeah, so I feel like I am happy with the result. And from there, I'm going to leave it. And hopefully that glue will set. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a little bit more just because you can see there's a slight gap on the inside. So I'm just going to put a little bit more just to kind of seal it up there. Just 1 second. And yes, every time you use this, make sure you close the cap right away because you don't want to waste all that adhesive and let it dry out. You're gonna have a hard time picking it out. Not a fun time. And it's also waste. So yeah, I'm just gonna put a little bit right in the seams there. Let it go through. Yeah, I just want the gap to be touching, and that's it for that piece. So I'm not gonna touch that piece. As soon as it dries, I usually give it like, I don't know, to be safe, 24 hours, like longer the better, obviously. Obviously read the instructions, it tells you how much time it sets, but for me, I like to take my time. You don't want to rush this thing anyway, so yeah. So while we're waiting for that to to dry up, sorry, I'm gonna do this section first. So I'm just gonna quickly wipe it down so I can reuse this toothpick. I don't like to waste stuff, so yeah, like it's all good. And then, oh yeah, we'll see how it fits first. So from the orientation of that, looks like, yeah, it's this way. Oh, this is finicky. Yeah, it even sticks on my hand here. It's so light. Yeah, it should look something like that. I mean, gotta fix that orientation, so this is a little bit tricky. I might have to take a few tries here. I'll get back to you on that. So I've been fiddling around with my toothpick here, and I would say just minuscule movements, maybe just a little bit of hair up top. Much. It's not really a precise piece. Like, to me, this side almost looks slightly bigger than the right one, so it's hard to get the right orientation, I find. And the slot where it fits underneath, it's not a perfect fit. So I'd say because yeah, like, this is not even mobile at all. Yeah, it's a little bit crooked, so I'd say just about right there is pretty good, because if you look at the size of the oval of the right to the left, it's not perfect, I find. So I'd say that's the best. And as you can see, there's some residue there, so while it's still wet, you can just wipe it off. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Carefully drop it down. Gonna move this right here, and we're gonna gently wipe it off. So I know it's a tiny piece here, but just gonna carefully wipe that piece off without touching the other side. And as you can see, I'm using the Kleenex here and not the paper towel, because it's less abrasive, hey? Just a reminder. There's a slight bit of glue just up here, and I'm just being meticulous right now, but yeah. I'm just gonna move it back into place again. I slightly moved it. As you can see, look how much movement I'm doing. I'm almost barely moving it at all. Yeah, just right there. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And I'm just gonna wait for that to glue, and yeah, we'll go from there. And I'll be right back in 24 hours or so. Alright, so I think it's been 24 hours already. I think it's even way past there. So, looking at the pieces here, this should be pretty dry to the touch. Yeah, like, since it's 100% silicone for the adhesive, I can definitely feel the silicone. So that stuff just rubs off. And if you look here, yep, it's in there pretty good. And I'm just doing like a light tap. I'm not like trying to like remove it. Obviously it's gonna come off again, but yeah, like I'm just doing some light taps here just to make sure it doesn't come off. So yeah, so far so good. And now we are going to connect these two pieces just like that, as so. It's a good thing it came off clean. Yeah, so it's gonna be glued in like that. So I always like to try out the pieces first before I connect them, just in case if it fits wrong or something's off. Yeah, so fits quite well. This might be a little bit tricky, but shouldn't have much of an issue. Just trying to see how it fits back properly. Yeah. Okay, let's give it a shot. So I use pretty much this much. Not a crazy amount, and you don't want to use too much for this stuff. I think I've said it before, a little goes a long way. And it's just a small piece that we're trying to repair here. I'm just dabbing it in place. Just have some contact, and I'm using the thinner part. I mean, sorry, the tip bit. Just kind of spread it around on all mating surfaces. Yeah, that should be good. Might be a tad bit thick, but again, like we can adjust that later when we get it dried out. Right now the focus is to put everything together, and it actually looks good. Yeah, so I can feel some resistance going on. Like it's not really holding in place, so I might have to do something else here. Have a few things in mind. Yeah, so the pieces don't really mate well together, so I might have to do something with the mating surface inside. So it was a very delicate procedure, but I was able to put it up this way. This is pretty much the best way to stick it together without falling apart. So I got it in its perfect position, but it has to stay in this position because it's the best way to keep it together. So it has to cure and dry and whatnot for a certain period of time. So yeah, I have done a few attempts just to get it stuck together at the right place, and I'm thinking of reinforcing the sides just to make sure it doesn't fall or whatever. But yeah, like obviously this is going to be another 24 hours, but you guys don't have to worry about that. And just like that, everything is together. As you can see, it doesn't fall off, like it hardens. So I just want to show you a quick piece what it looks inside, this product once it hardens. So this is like a piece that it's kind of stuck on the side of this cap. So as you can see, it's this turns into this silicone because it's 100% silicone, right? So yeah, that's what it starts looking like. So I only applied a small amount, which filled up the cracks, and as you can see, it looks really good. And like I said, I like this product because whatever extra just wipes off. Like it's like a rubberized material-ish. So yeah, like it's in there good, but obviously you don't want to fiddle too much with it. But yeah, like it's there, it's good. So now the task at hand, since everything's dry, I'm just going to attach it to the rear of the model. So we'll get our glue again, and making sure that the surface is clean. I'm just gonna get a dab about this much. Close the cap ASAP, so we could just work on this back and forth. And I'm gonna apply it on the model because there's a bunch of holes here, so I'm just gonna put it in there. As you can see, it's kind of like lathered in there a little bit. So whatever's extra, I could just clean it off. Yeah, like I just want a little bit of there. Yeah, that should be good. That should be good. And then I will put some of that stuff on the bumper nibs, whatever you want to call that. I'm definitely gonna need more than this. That's not much at all. I guess mounting points, mounting brackets, mounting nibs, I don't know. Yeah, and as you can see, I use a little bit at a time because you don't want to use a gob of it, and at the same time it takes forever to dry up. So with this method that I use, it takes a faster time to dry up, and you don't have to worry about too much extra glue. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So as you can see, it's not much. It's like a tiny dollop, pea size, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna get rid of this extra so I can reuse this toothpick. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you don't use it on yourself. And we shall attach it on our Porsche. Should attach fairly easy, I believe. Let's give it a good press. Make sure that the mounting point's like lined up well. And as you can see, there's a bit of a groove there. So it just has to match that groove. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Whoop! Slipped off a bit. Oh god, oh god, oh god. What happened there? Kind of got off its point. Its mounting point. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, because if you look here, it's facing slightly down. Like if you look at the bumper, it's slightly facing down. So it's the same as this. It's slightly facing down. So I think that looks great. So I'm just gonna whip my hands just to make sure I don't have any extra residue. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm honestly happy with that. So yeah, we just let this dry for 24 hours again. And you know, like I know 24 hours is a long time, and you know, honestly, it's worth the wait because you don't want to handle the model and all of a sudden, oh, the glue isn't completely dry. So it's better to just wait, in my opinion. So yeah, it looks great. As I mentioned earlier, it does not have that front part there, which is really annoying. So my goals in the future, if I get the part, I plan to use like maybe there's a parts car for like a Maisto or a Burago or something like that. And that's where I'm going to get it. Because, I mean, this GT Spirit 356B isn't really the most accessible model that you can get. And they only made, let me see here, if I can show you here, 498 of these units. So chances are you're not going to find one for 40 bucks or something like that. I paid a little bit more than that in this one, like 200 bucks shipped Canadian. So it's expensive. Like, it was my fault I didn't see this part. But yeah, like, I mean, it's a great model. Absolutely great. But yeah, like that's the goal. Just find like an extra piece here from another model, and yeah, just put it all together. And as well, as you can see, so many fingerprints from me handling it. It's just easier to handle with your hands than with gloves. So this will definitely be another polish and wax. Looking forward to that. Well, clean, polish, and wax. But yeah, amazing model, quite heavy, and yeah, I'm looking forward for this to dry up. And that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.